So you went out and you shot yourself a big ass buck. Just like this one. This is my friend Josh's deer. And you start thinking when you shoot something like this, hey, maybe I should get it scored. And you know, there's tutorials, there's things online on how you score them with a ruler, and you tape them all out and measure it all out. But there's a new app called Trophy Scan Mobile, and you can take your trophies and they'll look something like this. So I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. When I first downloaded the app, I heard about it on ATA this year, downloaded it, tried it out, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is actually pretty sweet. But I'm gonna show you how cantankerous the app can kind of be and how to work your way through it so you could scan your own deer like this. All right. So you download the app and it gives you the options to scan. And here, basically what I'm going to do here is I screen recorded me doing this one, and then I recorded myself doing it so you can see kind of how I'm moving around. The first thing you got to do is build this box, and you'll tell right away how touchy some of the buttons are. I'm trying to get it squared up and lined out. I don't know how important this is, other than just having the entire rack in there. I take my time on this and try to get it as best I can. So I get it straight, and then you'll grab the handles and you'll move them forward, backwards, and then taller, shorter, and then out so that you can fit the whole rack inside the mesh cube. Give myself a couple inches outside the rack on both sides and on the top and the bottom. You know, I scanned half a dozen of these already, and I kind of put it down for a while, forgot about making this video, and I thought I should probably get this one done sooner than later. So it's been about 2 months since I actually was in the app, so this is me kind of figuring it out again, brand new. Make sure you get the back tines in the mesh. And once it's all in there, kind of give it one last check, and then you start scanning. This is the cool part. It's really easy. You just hold it at this angle. The phone will tell you exactly what to do. I keep that white dot towards the center of the rack, and I just work my way around. You'll notice it pinging on the bottom. There's kind of a status bar. When you miss an angle, the camera will tell you, or the app will tell you to go back. You'll see me. I don't miss one here, I don't think. But I know on the next ones I do for sure. It's kind of cool. You can see the mesh populating on the bottom. So now next step is to take it from a lower angle. Do not move the antlers. Through this video, I'm going to show you kind of the pros and cons of doing this as a Euro mount or just a skull cap, or trying to do it with an actual mount. So here, this one's the lower angle, so I sped the video up a lot so it looks super shaky, because you don't need to see that twice. The next two I speed up even faster. So you'll do the next one at a higher angle, same thing, keep that white dot in the middle, you spin around, and you'll see it kind of generating more of the mesh down below. Here's where I missed that one, and I'm going back. Filled it in, keep on going. And the last one here is just like another angle. I just kind of do it very similar to the first one. It seems to work fine. You know, you want to do this in a well-lit area and in a spot where you can get 360 around, your subject. So doing this on a mount on the wall is not possible. Here we go. So you'll see it takes about 5 minutes for the model to generate on the right, and then voila, it just pops up, and I was amazed. I couldn't believe that something in my pocket had the ability to make this. I'll be honest with you. I was very impressed. The detail around the burrs, and I think I zoom in here for a second. Even the screw, it's pretty incredible. But how good is this at actually scoring the deer? I mean, just this is cool in itself. But can you measure deer, and how accurate is it? So it'll have you take 2 pictures. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more later too. It's something I don't like with the app. Throw a name on there. Like I said, this is my friend Josh. And it'll takes a second. And then it's not scored yet, so you go into score and it'll give you a list of how to do this. And now this is kind of a quick run through on how to position it. And that's okay that I'm cruising through, because when you actually get to putting the rack into position, which I'm doing right here, you hit the question mark on the bottom left and it'll actually like overlay how it should look, like that. So you'll just align this up and then you'll move to the front. Same thing. I just kind of throw the question mark up, see how it looks, move it around a little bit, check it again, then I move to the next tab. Same thing, move it around. Okay, good. For the cutting the mesh, I've never done this. I know you can swipe off some of the stuff like the stool, but it really doesn't matter. I haven't seen that it changes the score too much. So lastly, you got to put the burrs in place, and you'll draw 3 dots around the bottom of the burr. And see that one there? It's like 1/4 of an inch off. So I deleted it, moved it closer to the burr, and then spin around the antler, and you'll put one on like each 1/3 of the base. And it'll pop up this disc. And I just kind of verify that all the antlers in there and it's not too much skull, because I'm trying to get the best reading that I can. Then move on to the next one, throw a dot down, spin around the back, throw a second dot, go to the bottom of the burr, put a 3rd dot, it comes up, and then these dots you can actually move around so you can make sure the disc is only on the burr. This is a fat finger moment. This is when I tried to unselect it and I still selected it. That's going to piss you off a lot when you're using this right away. Everything is really small and tight and sensitive. Then you hit the arrow over and voila, you calculate it, and it's like, that's the score of the deer. Now I did this on paper and I was like 162 and some change, so it's really close. Like it was within 1.5 inches of what I actually measured it at as a green score. So you'll save it. Don't actually edit any of it yet. Then go back into it. I've had the app crash multiple times, and it seems to crash more when I'm in this editing of the score. So now you'll go into here. You can either rescore it or edit it. I go to edit, and then I'll look around and see where there's pieces that can be moved. Now here is the width. You can select that and you can drag it, and it'll move in and out. So you'll see, as the rack gets more narrow or wider, and then just select the widest point. I actually selected this on accident because it's touchy. It's automatically selected on the widest point, so you can leave it. Next up, I think I show is the mass measurement. So you get H1 on its right beam. Once that saves and recalculates. Yep, so here's the mass measurement on its right beam. Same thing, you can highlight it and drag it up and down the beam, and you can see where the actual ring is. I check the back, make sure it's not on the pedicle, so it's not a larger measurement than it actually is. And the last thing I do is I go around each one of like G1, G2, G3, G4, G5. I go through and I make sure that the dot where the score actually measures from at the beginning isn't too far down the beam, because I found this is usually like an inch or two over the actual score, and it's due to this right here. So I'll select the tine. Well, I think this one here, when I select it, it's on the other side of the tine, and then you get like a renaming feature. Oh, here we go. So you can select that dot and move it up and down closer to where it should actually be. Now it's stuck on my finger, so I'm trying to figure this out. And then finally here, I move it up to where it is, and then I hit the green check, and we move on to the next one. I check them all to make sure that they all start where they should when you're actually measuring it with a ruler or a steel tape. And just the accuracy and how this app works is actually pretty incredible. I think I said earlier, just having this in my pocket and not even utilizing it was silly. So it's all saved, and that's one of the best features of this, is it'll save it forever. Pretty cool how it all works once you get it dialed in. Now it is really cantankerous, it's really tedious right away, but once you do a couple, you get pretty quick at it. I'm going to show you some other parts of the app here as we get through it. You can go in and it'll give you this disclaimer of, that it's not officially measured, but these are kind of different score sheets. I always check the Boone & Crockett one. That's the one I'm most familiar with. Very plain to see here what it scores and how it will look on the official sheet if you were to do that, whether it's Pope & Young, Boone & Crockett, whatever. All right, now I'm going to show you when the app seems to not do the best. And this is a prime example. It's a buck I shot this last year. He has 2 unicorn points growing out straight from the skull. I cannot for the life of me figure out how to add a tine on the app, especially when it comes not off the main beam. If it's off the main beam, I can do it. When it's just off the skull, it won't even register that. I can't click on it, I can't make it do anything. So if the people making this app see this and they're like, well, there is a way to do this, or someone knows how, please let me know. I'd like to get that officially dialed in. Now here, I mounted this deer as a deer I shot back in North Dakota in 2020. Depending on how the rack lays and how close it is to the ears, the app does not do a very good job differentiating where the ear ends and the antler begins. So you'll see how the main beam line's kind of squiggly here. This one actually officially measured out at like 156 and 5/8 or something. And it says down there, I can't see it from here, but it's 157 and some change. But you can see why it's like that. There's a couple weird zigzags in there, and I can't get them fixed. There's also a mass measurement on its left side that I can't move down to where it belongs because the ear's in the way. So it's just kind of the downfall of doing it on a mount, pending what the rack looks like. Now this one's another deer of mine. The rack sits higher on his head, so the ears aren't tight to the main beams, and this one does a fine job measuring it. Now I haven't moved that main beam line on the left side. I didn't really care. It just gets it close. You can fine tune all those details in, but it looks pretty good. When this really shines, I think, is when you have a very standard, typical rack, which most deer are, and you have an ear out or it's just a skull cap. It's so easy to measure these deer. You just throw them, like I did in the example, on my little pedestal. I spin around, take the scan, and it's super easy to use. And this one was officially measured at 126 and 5/8 or something, and I mean, it's within an inch and a half of the official score. This is a deadhead I found a couple years ago. This one I'm just showing you how, you got G1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have the E, which is the sticker off of that one, and they have a common base point at the bottom of the beam, so that's why it runs all the way down. Now, before we get too excited about this whole app in itself, I have a list of things that I don't like about it. First one is you're required to have a LiDAR scanner on your phone. If you don't have one, this app's not going to work. It uses the LiDAR scanner to go around and actually build the mesh for you. It's also $9.99 a month. When I saw it at the ATA show, they had like packages. I thought I see like you would get 3 scans a month at a reduced rate. I could see this for taxidermists. Upselling, you know, I could score your deer. I could send you a photo of what it looks like and what the score is. You could show your buddies or keep it for the future. I think it'd be useful for that. But once, you know, you scan your 20 deer, maybe you have 5. You know, once you scan those $5, $9.99 a month just isn't cut it. You're just going to cancel it. So I think they can work on some things there. It's not really friendly using the app when you zoom in and you're trying to move points to maybe make the length shorter or longer. And then if you get a split and you have to name it from a G to an E, you kind of got to flip-flop inside the app and select the tine to get it to turn green and not just red, so then you can actually change the name. It's really tedious. Not a fan of that. It needs some work. My last 2 problems are, the one is really minuscule. I mean, if they can build an app like this, I think they could somehow incorporate your camera roll. So when you share these photos or the scans publicly to their app, you could actually have your thumbnail of like the shot you took of your harvest in the field with your grip and grin. I think it would look a whole lot better. I'm not sure if they could code that in. And lastly, the app just crashes sometimes. So you'll be working and you're really thinking you're getting that time built in and you're really fine-tuning the score, boom, crashes. And it loads back up and that information, like that tweak you're doing, is gone and you got to restart and get to that position again. The couple things that I really do like about it is there's no math required. Now I think when you get into the technical racks and it's not just a simple 5x5 or 4x4, when you get into some of the technicalities, you are going to know how to score deer to use the app appropriately. But you don't have to do any math, which is really nice. I also like that it keeps your rack stored forever. I can't tell you how many times you shoot one and you're talking with your buddies about a new buck that shows up 3 years later, 4 years later, and you're like, oh my gosh, this looks like that deer. What did that score again? And you're looking at it on the wall and you just really don't know. You could just pull the app up, scroll through, find it, boom, there it is, and you can get your score. And it's really handy. I also find it neat that, I mean, it's within 2 inches of the official score. So you could post your deer picture online. If someone asks you what it scores, you could give them a correct score. And you're not going to be one of those people that are 15, 20 inches over on a deer and just get completely blown up in the comments by people that kind of know what they're doing. It's just a nice way to store your trophies and have them so you can share them. If anyone asks you, you have that information available. And if you do post the score, you know you're very accurate within a couple inches of what it would officially be. So you're not that person on social media that's just completely wildly lying about the score of your deer. Not that it matters, it just makes you look like a dummy. All right, I'm just going to rant for half a second. I don't really think the score of the deer should matter much at all, if I'm just being honest. I use the score so that I can judge deer on the hoof or in a picture, so I know personally like what I'm getting into before I put an arrow in it, end my season, and get down and walk up to it. As your career of killing deer, kind of you accumulate some smaller bucks, at least for me, spikes, forks, and you shoot, an 8-pointer and you shoot a nice 10, and then all of a sudden you get into, consistently you're having shots at Pope and young deer year to year, and you just kind of want to up the ante a little bit. Well, in the heat of the moment, when you're looking at 125, 130 inch deer, they look really big. and I'm a bow hunter, so they're always close by. And it's just a quick way for me to reference what I know of offhand from previous deer I've shot or deer that my friends have shot, to know what I'm shooting before I get down and go find it. The 2 deer behind me are both 10-pointers, and they're both they both net 125. One grossed 126 and a half, and the other one grossed 127 and something. So there's not much for deductions on them, but they're just a good representation of a hardline Pope and Young deer. So I kind of judge everything off of these two. Having a score to measure deer off of, I think, actually saves a lot of deer's lives, because everyone's kind of chasing that bigger, best type of situation. And as a bow hunter who spends as much time as I can in the woods, you're oftentimes passing on a lot of bucks that I would have shot 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So that's it. That's the Trophy Scan mobile app. If you like this video or want more content like this, please subscribe, like the video. It goes a long way. And hopefully this fall you'll be able to use the Trophy Scan mobile app on a big buck of your own.